listening to the Live, Play podcast.
Welcome to the Live, Play podcast. I'm your host, Stephen Kinsella, and today's topic, we are talking about getting started. And it's getting started with your fitness and like making positive changes to your health, but it also transfers into your work and your life. And I think starting off with the fitness element it works better, because if you start exercising, you're going to start like looking and feeling better about yourself. You're going to start building a little bit more confidence, which then can lead into making changes if you have and want to make changes in your work life or your family life, personal life. But like getting started, it's possibly the hardest thing to do. And if you think of it from a point of view as like anything that's getting started, like for example, if you're sending a rocket in space, the majority of the fuel used is to take off, and then obviously once it gets up there, it's just doing its thing. And the same for fitness. And what we see and what we kind of I found over the years is a lot of people now don't know how to get started. They're in a place where they're not feeling comfortable, their energy is low, they're not sleeping right, they've gained weight that they're not happy about, and they want to make a change, but they just don't understand what to do because they're being bombarded by this program, that program, this works, that works. And the thing about it is a lot of people are uncomfortable or unhappy in their current circumstances, but the thought of starting something and then failing is too much for them to handle. So they say, well, what's the point in trying? And they end up staying because they've accepted that they're not happy about it, but they've accepted their current situation. They've accepted their weight gain. They've accepted their energy load. They've accepted everything that's come with that. And they're not necessarily happy, but they're willing to live like that because the fear of failure. But here's the thing. You got to change the mindset on that. If you don't try, firstly, if you do try, you could fail. That is a possibility. But if you don't try at all, you're failing in any way, because you're failing to make the change. You're failing to start. And I think that's a big thing to look at, and just to kind of say that to yourself a little bit is like, so if you try a program and you fail, that doesn't matter. If you fail, just dust yourself off and keep moving forward. Think of it like this. As a kid, as a toddler, right? And if you have kids, or you won't remember this much yourself, but from when a baby's born, they go through an awful lot of pain. Teething is very uncomfortable, growing pains, they fall constantly, bang their head, hit their hands, they roll, they fall, they hit themselves with things constantly. And if you have a toddler, you understand this all too well. But you forget about it. If you knew as a baby, you knew what you were about to go through, you could prevent your teeth from coming down, and you could prevent yourself from walking because of the falls, you more than likely would, because you were given the option. You're not given the option for those things, and that's why we have to go through them. And the brain has a great way of forgetting. It has a great way of forgetting it. And even like, I know I've spoken to some women, is like after a pregnancy, after a while, you kind of forget how uncomfortable you felt during pregnancy. And you're like, hey, let's go again. And as a husband, you're like, oh, really? And as it happened with my wife, she forgot about a lot of stuff. And then when we had her second, it was, I was like, yeah, your back sore again. Yeah. But again, it's built. It's there for a reason, so we can keep growing and keep doing things. Think about it like this. A lot of us would rather stay where we are and be unhappy than kind of work towards something new, because we don't feel strong enough and we don't feel ready enough. But it's that age-old thing. You're never going to be ready. There's never going to be a right time. You're never going to feel ready. You just got to go. And fear is good, okay? Fear is good. That nervousness about doing something is good, because it means that it's growth. And I think it's a lot of people need to grow. And you just got to get started when it comes to these things. You got to get started. You got to put in the work, and it doesn't matter what it is. It's just once you're doing something. If you think of it like this, where like the saying is, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. I know, like you hear like these. I use these kind of sayings, and they're cliche to a point, but it's true. How do you eat an elephant? It's one bite at a time. You take it one bite at a time, and that's how you go. And I think, like, when it comes to fitness, it's one step at a time, one day at a time. Start something today, whether it's a walk or some stretching, or you book a new you book into a class, or you sign up to a gym. You book something, you get something done, and then look, it doesn't matter where you start. Like, it could be as simple as getting up early in the morning and going for a walk before, and get some personal time for yourself. Organising a hike with your friends and doing that every 2 weeks or once a month, going for a hike with mates, or doing something that's active with mates, signing up to a Couch to 5K, getting a personal trainer, joining a strength and conditioning gym, joining a gym, doing fitness classes. It doesn't matter what it is, just start getting started. And once you're started, you'll then start to feel and see what works for you, and then you might, because you're doing something here, you might go, well, I'm doing this, and now you start seeing something else, and something else starts intriguing you, and you're going to move that way. But if you don't get started at all, you're just being bombarded by all these things that you're fearful of. But you got to start doing something, and maybe the thing that you think you might like to do, you're a year away from ever starting it, because you need to do a fair bit of work of just getting moving is the key to getting you where you want to be. And one of the big things that I think is hilarious is if we just played more. So think of it like this: if you come home from work, if you have kids, even if you don't have kids, you come home from work, and then mandatory, you have to go outside and play games, play some sport, play some games, climb tree, like kids games. It doesn't matter what it is, and you do that for exactly 1 hour every day. You'd be so much healthier than you are now, because you'd be running around, you'd be building some cardiovascular fitness, you'd be dropping some weight, more activity, you'd be moving more, you'd be de-stressing from the day. Like, even think of it like this: imagine work had, every day in work you had your lunch, and like school, you had to go yard time, you had to go out and play. Imagine that. That's extra fitness in your day. Like, if you have a company and you go, right, well, every 3 to 4 times a week we have mandatory games as part of work. It's in the work hour, we pay you for the hour, and your staff are getting happier, they're having fun, they're interacting more with each other, so you're building a stronger team. That could be something cool. I don't know what it's going to do to productivity rates, but you never know. Could be something awesome. Maybe try it out. Don't get caught up in like when. Just do it today. Start something today. It doesn't matter what it is. Just get to something, start it, and get after it. Now, the other thing is that we see is we tend to, and this is us as a species, we tend to look at our peers and look at what other people are doing, and then it's that fear, and are we going to get approval? So if I start like doing a new sport or a new gym routine, I want approval from people, and we like approval from people, but the real person that needs to approve your decision is you. If you approve your decision to better yourself, that is all the approval you need. And then you just surround yourself with people that have that same goal, that have the same desire. There's no point in trying to be a specific type of person and you're keeping yourself in a different group that does not align with your goals or the outcome that you want or aspire to. So what happens when we start? So firstly, when we start something, motivation is high. So if you're watching this and you're about to, like, it's doing its job, and you're starting to get motivated for it, and you're going, I'm going to do something. Your motivation is high. And here's the thing: when you have high motivation, the excuses that you had get removed. You figure it out. The objections you have, the why you didn't start, you start removing all those objections: the food, the going to bed late, the getting up late, you don't have the right gear, everything that you put as an obstacle in your way or an objection in your way gets removed, and you start getting into it, and it's great, and we're doing well, and we're moving, and we're starting to feel the benefits. We're getting sore, but then when your motivation dwindles, what happens is those excuses that you were able to push away and get rid of, objections, start to come back, and then they start taking over. And again, what actually happens here, we cower away from the task and we stop performing. We start lowering our standards, and we get distracted from the reasons that made us want to start in the first place. Think of it like this. The pleasure result gratification, I'm going to read this now. The pleasure results in gratification. All of the goals that we want because of the pain we feel is the reason for change. But somewhere along the way, the change, sacrifice become the pain, too much to handle. And we slowly start slipping back into the old life and habits. I'll put it to you like this. The pain that you feel when you're unhappy about your body or your current state motivates you to start doing something positive and growing towards being a better version of yourself. But what happens is when our motivation dwindles and the soreness from the training and the consistency and the dedication required to keep going down that road, that pain starts becoming too much. So we start reverting back to the pain we prefer because that pain was easier. And what will happen is you'll end up back in that position, and then where you were unhappy, and you know you're unhappy, but you accepted it, and then you'll go a couple more months or a year, and then you'll start feeling that pain again of not feeling good about yourself. And this is literally what happens to the majority of people that exercise on a regular basis. Training is not going to be consistently motivating. There is days you just gotta go. You just gotta get up, you gotta go, you gotta turn up. And that's why I personally believe having a coach or someone to hold you accountable for your actions is huge. Some people don't need it. I think a lot of us do. And I think that when you have someone that will be checking in on you and looking for you to get stuff done that you said you wanted to get done, then I think that's going to help you stay the course. Because not every session, like I say, not every session is going to be the session you want to do. You're going to feel beat up, you're going to feel tired, but guaranteed 100%, you will be always thankful after it's done. But if you don't go, you're going to beat yourself up over it even more and more and more, till the point where you get back to a position where you're not exercising and you're starting to gain weight again. So how do you stay on target? So this is the thing that I like. Not everyone is into this, but I think it really works. Is you got to write everything down, and not just say. I think physically writing stuff down is much like, I know people have apps and all this, but when you physically write down plans and goals and schedules, I think you do a better job of completing them. And the way I would do it is, if you're starting off just getting active, I would plan exactly when my exercise, whatever exercise you're doing, is going to be done. Whether it's going to be a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, if it's going to be Monday, Tuesday, if it's going to be early mornings, mid mornings, late mornings. If you work split shifts, you have to do early training sessions this day, you have to do midday sessions here, you have to do evening sessions here. Whatever it is, you log them down and you give yourself 2 numbers. So if you say, right, I'm going to do, the goal is 5, the minimum requirement is 3. So if you hit 3, you've done a good job, and if you've hit 5, you've done an amazing job. The problem with just saying 3 is that if you say 5 and you don't hit 5, you're beating yourself up for not hitting what you set. And then if you say 3 and you only hit 2, so I like to give myself 2 goals: the minimum requirement, and then the top goal. So even if I do have, and we all have them, a bad week, I have the minimum requirement in the bag, so I don't feel. So when I look back on my week and go, well, I got my 3 sessions. At least I got my 3 sessions in, and then that keeps me going. But if I don't do that, and I say, well, I missed 5, and I've missed 5 the last 2 weeks, but work's been crazy, then I start kind of going, oh, I don't know if this is for me, I might change, or I might just skip it for a week now and just not exercise at all. And I think that is a big negative. So when you start looking and recording things, it is really good. And like when we have stressful weeks, and when we have like workload, our college or study or family, and just there's stuff happening, one of the things that tends to go first is your fitness, as in like you skip the gym or you take time off, because you're dealing with so much that your brain is just getting burnt out, and the thoughts of having to go exercise and put in some hard work, you don't have the energy or the mind capacity to keep going. But if you have a minimum requirement, that can really, really help. Another thing you can do is review the day, and I like, you can do a review the week or you can do a review today. I like to do a review of the day. It takes about 5 minutes, and pretty much you just sit down. You have a couple of questions preset, but pretty much, did I take steps towards improving myself, improving my goals, or achieving something? And again, this can be business, fitness, personal life. But for this purpose is fitness. So did I exercise? Was it a day to exercise? Did I exercise? Did I get out for a walk? Did I clear my head? Am I going to bed stressed? Do I need to go for a walk? So just reviewing that. And if you review your week, let's say review 7 days, it's like, yeah, take a 7-day challenge, review. So one of the things you can do is review, okay? Review the day, review the week. And I find this very good. I like doing it on a daily basis. And again, I don't get it done every single day, but I get it done most days. Is that when you've had a bad day, but then you're looking, well, I got this done, I got this done, I got this done, I got this done. You then realize that the day wasn't, even if it was a stressed out day and you're in a bad mood because of the day, that you realize you were still very productive and you got an awful lot done. And I think that stands to us a lot by doing that. And then if we review the week on a Sunday evening, then we can look back on all the positives, and it's taking the positives out of your day and taking your positives out of the week. And there's 2 types of positives you can use, right? So first one is the win. What's the win? I got to exercise. I ate well. I stuck to my diet. I avoided the cake at the birthday party and work. I got up early. I did some extra stretching. I got out for a walk. I did some breath work. I did some stretching. I met up with a friend. So a win is congratulations on completing a task that was planned, or like something that you had to get done. So even if it was shit hit the fan and work and you had to deal with something and you completed that task so you could go back tomorrow a little bit better, then yeah, that is a win. And then you got magic moments. And magic moments are, as much as it can sound corny, is more of an emotional thing. So the win of the day is the tasks you completed, but the magic moments is how you feel. And for me, that would be like in the mornings when my daughter gets up and it's me and her downstairs, and I've gotten my run in and I've gotten my emails done, and then it's just me and her for 40 minutes, and it's daddy-daughter time. That's a magic moment of my day. If I have a good conversation with a client and I kind of help solve an issue that they're having, or I have a meeting with them and help them set some goals, that's like the feeling I get from that is a magic moment. So I log that down, because a lot of times we default to the negative, and it's always good to remind yourself that, yeah, you did have some really good moments today or this week, and then they just get logged in the bank because you've written them down. Because the problem is we tend not to write things down. So here is, to wrap this up, here is some questions, right? That I think I'll put the questions in the comments below that you can use. So a nice saying that I like to give is, I like to say, don't be afraid of living the life that goes hand in hand with your goals. A lot of us tend to live a life that are not in line with our goals, and we're on 2 different paths, and they're never going to meet. So I think, like, when you start writing things down and reviewing things, you'll start to see a pattern, and you'll be able to start to kind of course correct yourself to where you want to be. Some questions that I think you could ask yourself to get yourself going. You could do this on a weekly basis, monthly basis. It's just 5 questions, and they're in the comments below. The first one is, what is my major focus and task? So what is the focus? And this can be across all spectrums, including like fitness, lifestyle, personal, work, career, whatever you want to make it. So what is your major focus? So what is the goal for now? Like, if it's to get into shape, right? So how many times, so what am I going to do to get into shape? Who am I going to seek out for help? So what's the task? And then implement the task. So I have to sign up to a gym, or I have to sign up to a run, I have to sign up to a course. So that's the task, and then put a date on it. I'm going to do this by this date. What do you need to put in place to make that happen? So like I say, if it's a task or it's a gym, it's like, so what I need to do, I need to give myself 3 to 4 hours per week to exercise. I need to sign up and pay for that course and make sure I'm available to go and attend it. I need to ring this guy to see if they can work with me, so I can make more money for my company, or even if it's personal, I need to spend more time at home with my kids or my spouse. I need to spend more time there. So what am I going to do? How am I going to put that in place? Number 3, how can I make sure I achieve these goals? What do I need to do? What do I need to know? What do I need to delegate? What do I need to stop? So what do you need to do to get this over the line? So if you're not exercising, you need to start. If your diet's all over the place, you need to start correcting your diet. So you need help correcting your diet. You need to find someone to help you. So again, when you ask these type of questions, you get to the root causes, and you find the solutions, and then you can start taking positive action towards achieving goals. And again, this all takes time. And like I said earlier, this time next year, you can be a completely different person. A better version of you, the version that you want to be. Number 4, who can help me? And this is a big thing. A lot of people don't like asking for help. Ask for help. Ask people out there. Hey, listen, I'm thinking of doing this. What's your advice? Or you hire someone to help you, to get you started. Like, I don't understand when a lot of people, they try and do a lot of stuff on their own, but sometimes you need just that. You need help, and it's okay to ask for help in all avenues of your life. Number 5. What do you need to stop doing? This is the big one. A lot of people, when they start, they talk about all the new things they're adding, but they never really delve into the things they need to stop doing. So if it's in regards to energy, and you don't have energy, and you want to start fitness, but if you're staying up to 12 o'clock midnight watching shite on TV, that's one thing you need to stop doing. So if you're routinely staying up till 12, you need to start going at 11 or half 10 and then working it back down. It's what's important: watching the TV show, having the better life. It's one or the other. I don't have enough time in the day. Well, break down your day. Where do you have time? And it doesn't need to be an hour. If you have 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes a day to start, then that's where you start. Simple. And that's when it comes to getting started on anything, these kind of guidelines will 100% help you, because they've helped me, and I know it helps so many other people that I've worked with. And for example, I have coaches. I look for business mentors. I look for people to help me develop myself so I can grow. And there's a lot of times where I'm really nervous and I really don't want to do something, but I know that on the other side of it, it's going to be better for me. And over the years, I've had to do that multiple times. And yeah, I could just sit back and go, oh no, I'll just be where I am. But I can't grow and get to where I want to be unless I'm willing to change, unless I'm willing to learn and ask for help, and then stop doing things. So guys, that's getting started. I hope you enjoyed it. I know it was a bit, I don't know, I think I sounded like I was a bit all over the place a little bit. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this show. Again, if you do like the podcast, please give us a follow, a like, a positive comment. Really appreciate it. We've got some cool guests lined up. A guy that's going to be talking about motivation. I got a guy who's a YouTuber who's just got a cool story behind him. And I got a psychologist who's coming on as well. So we got some really cool shows lined up. Please, we're on Podbean, we're on Spotify, we're on YouTube. Give us a like, give us a follow. If anything on this podcast resonates with you, leave a nice comment. And then if you have any questions about anything, you send them over to me. I'll be very willing to reply. Now, it might take 24 hours for me to get back to you, but give me some time and I will get back to anyone that has any questions on getting started with their fitness or anything fitness related in general. So guys, I hope you're all having a good day. I appreciate you 100% for checking out the show, and I am out.
You're listening to the Live, Live, Play podcast.